Okay. Before we officially start, I would like to get.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Participants.
The year was 2016. I was just a middle school graduate trying to expand my wings, getting ready to enter my high school journey. And you know what they say about high school? You haven't got the true taste of life if you hadn't yet experienced high school. So I thought of the most ideal scenarios, the most ambitious scenarios that I will partake in my high school. And believe me when I said anxiety was not part of it. However, I learned that life doesn't always go hand in hand with my expectations. And with that, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I hated reality. I thought that this just ruins my entire prospect in being a great public speaker. I believe that this cancels my dreams of being an ambassador, a person that is passionate of using her voice in front of the public to create a change. I thought of anxiety as pure form of debilitations, keeping me away from my dreams. Because how could I expect to initiate change, incite strength in front of people when I am debilitated, when I am weak, when I have to face tsunami of anxiousness, risking myself to be in a state of panic attack every time I'm preparing myself to go on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, during my sophomore year, I finally read a book that was changing my life. This book was about Stoicism, or the Stoic theory. The Stoic theory is the philosophical study in which they believe that one would only able to achieve freedom through acceptance. These teachings believe that when your emotions is no longer being bound and enslaved by your condition, you are pushing yourself towards growth, your growth and the people around you. This was a life-changing moment for me. Ladies and gentlemen, oftentimes when the reality hits us too hard, we tend to escape from our life. We haven't yet made peace with a lot of the things in life, the past that we had done. Maybe right now, you're still struggling with remembering the fact you were involved in a toxic relationship in the past. Thinking of how much you wanted to go back in time and change the history. Or maybe you are currently suffering from a loss. Your friend just passed away and you still struggle with the idea that you have to live a life without his presence. We often deny the truth and we create imaginary scenarios. And these scenarios are addictive because they provide us with short-term euphoria. But they are harmful. Because the truth is, it is a form of denial, and denial will not solve your problems. And I learned this the hard way. No matter how many times I try to dismiss my anxiety, anxiety will still be there. No matter how many times you want to try to go back in time and change something that was not in your control, it will still be there. In order for us to win in life, we need to find acceptance. We need to find the first steps in order to open the gate to road of growth. And understanding is the first step of our acceptance. And only through acceptance can we find recovery. So how can we achieve this? You can try to assess first your condition. Ask yourself with these two questions. First, can I change my condition? If not, what can I do to counteract my limitations? And for me, owning up to my mental health conditions and how it debilitates me at times was the first step forward towards a better understanding of my reality. Of course, it debilitates me at times, yes, but that was outside of my control. What is within my control is how I react to that. For me to pacify several symptoms that is so debilitating, I had to attend sessions of psychotherapy. And as hard as it, and through consistent treatments, I am more content with myself, and I am way equipped with the mental stability to step on. on a stage. Through acceptance, I have found my recovery. And through my recovery, I have accept my reality. And accepting changes my perspective. I am now standing in front of you as a public speaker, utilizing my conditions as a way to inspire and motivate. I transform my debilitation into motivation. I used something that I was struggling with that I believed could be something that stops me. But through acceptance, my friend, I used it as a medium to bring exposure and courage to all of you. By accepting your reality, you are letting yourself to not live within its constraint. You are shifting your focus from possible conflicts to possible potentials. It empowers your challenges and turn it to strength. My dearest committees and honorable educators, I may not know the problems and the battles you are currently fighting. Maybe some of you are silently battling an eating disorder, or some of you try to recover from a childhood trauma. But I do know that in order for you to open your road to growth and recovery, you need to feel acceptance. Your road to victory will be a gradual of trials and errors. You are bound to make mistakes and you are bound to fall. And this is something that you cannot avoid. But one thing you can avoid is giving up. And don't stop. Keep aligning your efforts to your reality until you come out of your battle with victory, until you can look at your challenges and say, I win. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for Ms. Deborah for the great performance. And now I would like to give the time to our adjudicators to ask some question. To the adjudicators, you could ask some question if you want to. Thank you. To Mr. Dilan.
Thank you very much, Ms. Deborah, for a very inspiring speech. It is true that we have to overcome everything through determination and willingness, right? But my question to you, Ms. Deborah, is do you think that that same principle of learning from the past, as you said, is applicable to every single person, even with people who have had a traumatic history? Or do you think that people who have had a traumatic history should actually move on from that and start a whole new thing as they go? You want me to repeat the question?
No, I got it.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, so of course, as a person with anxiety, which is a form of mental health problems, I also understand how hard it is to not only open ourselves to become transparent with our emotions and progress in accepting things, but I would like to accentuate and also emphasize that acceptance is the first step. It is not the entire step for everybody to just move on, because acceptance is not being apathic, is not being lazy, or is not dismissing your own emotions and just simply moving on. But it is just one out of many steps that you have to do in order for you to achieve that state of recovered that you are longing for. And of course, for your questions that you were specifying, some of the people that had traumas, that is something that needed to be guided and assisted with adequate facilities, adequate eligible sources of mental health professionals. But then again, in order for us to be able to sign ourselves up for a therapy and for a treatment, to take medical treatments and lifestyle changes to accept and accommodate our trauma to our life, we need to accept things first. So yeah, that is the answer to my question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bora.
You're welcome.
So, Miss Deborah. Deborah, can you hear my voice?
I can.
Okay, so actually it's a very great speech when you told a lot of theory about how you can accept yourself and being better by accepting. So I just wondering, do you have the real inspiring story? I mean, like, it's not only based on your own story, but it can be from your friends or your family, or maybe people that you know that they really do this in their life, and right now they have been succeed to do this.
Okay. So can I answer the question now? Okay. So I started. So of course, I do have several experiences with my friends. I'm not the only one in my organization, my English club in my university that went through the same thing, which is denial of our mental health conditions. A lot of my friends also came out with their stories. They had severe depressions when they were in middle school, when they were in high school. They opened up about their self-harm, and we had a discussion on that. And there is this one thing that really sticks with me the most, and it is the story of my friend of becoming who's experiencing an eating disorder, which is anorexia. And it was real because the bone was very accentuated and it was very noticeable. However, 2 years after we kept talking to one another, 2 years after she kept updating about her progress, about her gradual process, accepting her reality and accommodating her eating disorders to stop limiting herself from eating, she gained almost 10 to 15 kilograms and she looked healthy as ever. And for me, seeing that form of living evidence of how accepting could actually become a progress, a start for a progress for you was impeccable. So yeah, I do have a story from my friends.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Deborah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Nice topic about mental health because mental health is quite an issue nowadays. So I'm gonna ask you, do you think that education of mental health is needed since very young age, and how effective and cost effective are school-based mental health treatments in Indonesia?
Okay.
Thank you.
I will answer your question. Thank you. That was a great question. So it is no secret that our government is quite absent in providing adequate information and exposure regarding the topic of mental health problems. It is still deemed as something that is extremely taboo, and that's why I think proposing for a school-based, putting it as a subject perhaps in our curriculum, which talks about mental health since early age, could really helped in not only bringing exposure to these kids and since early age that these are real things and these are problems that are valid and these are problems that can be solved, and that could also lead to the decreased percentage of people feeling suicidal. Because sometimes as a teenager, if you ask I read somewhere, if you ask 10 teenagers of Indonesian, only 7 of them will be able to point you to to seek for help if you're suffering from a depression, because that is just how absent our government is. And with that being said, lack of coverage on the topic would lead these people into feeling lost. They would not know how they will seek for help, who to seek for help, who to talk to when they feeling like they need to end their life. So I think increasing hotlines, numbers of hotlines, and also increasing awareness and putting it in the school platform will definitely accentuate the importance and the exposure of mental health problems, and hence bringing exposure to these kids.
Okay, nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you for all the educator for the question. Is it enough, Kak? All right. If it's enough, then this is the end of the Deborah session, and we will move to the next participant. Well, thank you to Miss Deborah. Now you can leave the breakout room.
Okay.
Okay, thank you to Miss Deborah for the performance.
Adjudicators boleh follow up question, right?
Boleh Kak, selama itu waktunya masih 3 menit.
Alright, thank you.
Baik Kak. All right. Now we will continue to the second participant, that is Miss Jessica. Hello, Miss Jessica. Welcome to the breakout room. Before we start the performance, I would like to confirm whether you could see the timer clearly.
Yes, I can.
All right. And now, to Miss Jessica, the time is yours.
Michael Jordan once said, I can accept failures. Everyone fails at something. But I cannot accept not trying. Everyone knows Michael Jordan. He's a living basketball legend. But can anyone guess what Jordan's first failure was? Well, I thought his first failure was losing a game, failing to be MVP, or missing a buzzer beater shot right before the clock runs out. In his second year of high school, Michael Jordan failed to enter the team because he was too short. That rejection burned his motivation. He was so furious that he trained day and night. He arrived before anyone else did and stayed long after everyone went home. He scored 40 points effortlessly playing in the underdog team. And his success only started 3 years later once he played in the Olympics and scored a gold medal. He won 86 different awards in 17 years of play. If there was someone who ever told me that he won all those 86 awards only from sheer luck without any hard work, I will tell that as the biggest boast ever. Even the legend himself failed 9,000 shots, 300 games, and 26 decisive table turning last shots. Yet all those 10,000 failures did not stop Jordan. He moved on despite of the failures. Back then, when I was still a kid, I was so good in handicraft and I competed with that. So I made a lantern with only wooden popsicle sticks in 2 months. The result was so good that I was announced as the winner of the regional championship and was going to national. I was indeed delightful, carrying the lantern back home on a bike. But suddenly, there was a motorcycle from the left and crossed me. I fell on the floor, scratched, bleeding. The moment I opened my eyes, they were in tears. My hard work, my lantern was in pieces. I was totally not going to competition with injured legs and broken lantern like that. It was indeed a big blow for me, a big disappointment. Yet in a matter of days, I moved on from the tragedy. I realized there are a lot of other things that I could do, as to why I shifted to storytelling competition. Though I was badly injured, I still managed to keep my performance the best and acted as a paralyzed girl. And I performed like this. Well, indeed, I won. I nailed the competition. And from there, I learned that it is indeed a blessing in disguise. So I learned and aim higher. I get it more interested in public speaking worlds. So I thought the idea of speaking on a stage was totally cool. It is so amazing how people seem as they are shining bright with confidence overflowing from their lips. So I took a part in just to give it a try. 3 days before the competition, I was so ready for myself. But the moment when I stepped onto the stage, I stumbled between sentences, I got nervous, and I made some stops. It was not fatal, but for a first timer, it really affected my score and my performance. A year later, I signed up for another trial, and this time I was so ready to win. I woke up at 4 a.m. and rehearsed over and over again. I practiced in front of my teacher, in front of my 5-year-old nephew, and in front of my friend's pet. If I knew you judges back then, I would call to deliver my speeches through the phone or through the Zoom call meeting right now. Well, thanks to all the hard work that I made, I finally got back to the final round with 2 different categories. There were 6 finalists each, and they were going to pick 4 winners. And guess what happened? I ended up being in the 5th rank for both categories and went home empty-handed. I was this close, but I did not let failure stop me. I took all in and retried again. In exact November 2019, I was once again ready to try myself. This time, I went for another competition, signed up for 4 different categories. I spoke to explore what I love. After 3 years of trying, I finally went back home with 4 trophies at that night. I even got a lot of new friends. Then I realized that from the tragedy that hit me several years ago, I could finally spread my wings in the public speaking competitions and to aim higher and to get so much more that I've never expected myself to be before. And then from the experiences, triumphs, and failures, I learned that I got to be elected as one of the ambassadors in my campus, UPH, which is something that I've never pictured myself to be, something that is beyond what I expected myself to be. See, it is the process that matters. If we stop halfway, we'll get nothing. But if we press on, even after failures, process will eventually bear fruit. If I stop the last time I failed, I'll then be standing right here all over again. Every ballerina breaks their tools practicing 10,000 hours just to one day dance the Black Swan. Every singer vibrates their vocal cords every day just to beat the next the Beatles. Remember, it does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. One at a time is better than none at all. So don't give up, fail, but get up again and win. For as long as you do not let failure stop you, then you will get so much better things than what the world could offer to you. Allow me to end this speech by sharing a nugget of wisdom with you. Winners are not people who never fail, but winners are the people who never quit. My name is Jessica, a winner today, a winner tomorrow, a winner forever. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
All right, thank you so much to Miss Jessica for the great performance. Now I would like to give the time to our adjudicator to ask some question. To the adjudicators, you could ask some question if you want to. All right, to Kak Dilan, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Miss Jessica, for a very inspiring speech. I'm actually a huge fan of Michael Jordan, of course, the living legend. My question to you is, in this day and age, it is very true that for millennials to be motivated to do something, they're always looking for rewards. We do something as millennials and we always expect to get something back. Only then do we feel like we're appreciated. Do you think that that is a positive thing in everything we do, we expect something back? Or do you think that's a positive thing, that as millennials, we always need to be rewarded? Should I repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you feel that as millennials, we should always feel the need to be rewarded for everything we do? As seeing that is the only motivation or one of the motivations for millennials. So do you feel like we always need to be rewarded for what we do?
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much for the question. Well, just like what I've told you before, that all my hard work, all my lantern that I've made before was broken due to the tragedy, which is something that I've never expected to be. Well, indeed, at that time, I really want to win. I wanted to be rewarded for my hard work, for my time that I spent to do the lantern, or even to the public speaking sometimes. I indeed wanted to win, like who else did not want to win? But it's back again. Well, you cannot always expect silver lining to come without having a little dark cloud, can we? But then, you still cannot wait for the silver lining to come if you do not put any hard work in it. So I believe that it is okay to feel like you want to be rewarded, but sometimes life may not always give you flowers, sunshines, or rainbows. Life gives you experiences. Life throws you lemons. And I think that it is so much better things to learn from the experiences, the failures. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm indeed delightful whenever I'm awarded with something that I worked so much for. But again, it is failures that built me. It is the failures that shaped me to what I am here before. I learned so much thing when I win, when I was rewarded, but I learned so much more things when I fail. Because when I fail, you got to learn how to get back up and how to start from zero again. And you have to learn, and you will win. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jessica.
Right. Is it enough, Mr. Dylan?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Next question will be delivered by Miss Nivia. To Miss Nivia, the time is yours.
Okay, so Miss Jessica, you told a lot in your speech about how your struggle to be the winner, right? So I mean, like, what is the standard or being winner? Is being winner, it means that you have a therapy in your hand, or it's about the process, or how about someone who already did a lot of things in their lives? I mean, like, people did a lot of things in their lives, but then suddenly the fact is they couldn't get any therapy of the competitions like you got, because from your story you say that, okay, I won because because you really won on that competition. How about others? So what is the standard of being a winner?
Okay, so indeed, from the story that I mentioned earlier, it is when I got the trophies that I want. But the standards that I put in myself is not only lies on the trophies in my hands, on the triumphs that lies upon my hand. It is the process that truly matters in the end of the day. Like when you're thrown lemons, you have to get back up again. You have to learn again. So the standard to be a winner is to not to always give up. And failures may throw you, failures may come, not once, not twice, but many of times before. And the standard to be a winner is to not learn to give up, but to learn and learn to be the best version of yourself. Because in the end of the day, it is all that matters. It is trophies may get dusty and it will be broken someday, but it's the experiences, the process that really matters in the end of the day, because it somehow will bear really good fruit. So let me end this with a quote from somebody which say that no grinds, then no diamonds. So you have to keep grinding. Thank you.
Okay, that's nice.
All right. Thank you to Miss Nivia. And next question will be delivered by Miss Ega. To Miss Ega, the time is yours.
Okay, hello, Jessica.
Hello, great day, Miss.
Yeah, I see you as a competitive and ambitious person. Just when I was very young. So I'm going to ask you, how do you be able to be competitive and also still ambitious when you've got a job you want? Because, you know, it's really different, the atmosphere at school and workplace, because you haven't had any idea, right, how the atmosphere at workplace right now. So how do you see yourself maybe in the next few years?
Okay, so it is indeed very hectic to think about how I could still be ambitious in pursuing the passions that I love, like for example, public speaking right now, and how to manage my time well in the workplace someday. Well, back then, a year ago, I ever worked in a place to teach some students. Well, indeed, I still join 4 competitions at a time. It is indeed very hectic to think about, but it's back again to the time management that we have to spend really well. But indeed, in the future, the workplace, it's something that is beyond my imagination. Like we have to manage our times twice or thrice better than the what I used to experience before. And thus, I see myself as truly ambitious and wanted to always pursue the dreams that I'm passionate about. Thus, it seems that I have to implement my passion, which is this, public speaking, into maybe a job that I will do later. Because in the end, I still pursue my dream as a public speaker, maybe, and it is still the job that I can pursue in later, which is synchronizing one another. So that is all, Miss. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Kak Ega. Is it enough, Pak?
That's enough again.
All right, it's enough. Then this is the end of Jessica's session, and we will move to the next participant. Thank you to Miss Jessica, and now you can leave the breakout room. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, Kak. Next, we will continue to the third participant. So please wait a minute, ya, Kak. Okay. Well, hello, Mr. Ray Abraham.
Hi. Okay.
Right. Welcome to the breakout room. Before we officially start, I would like to confirm whether you could see the timer clearly, Kak?
Yes, it's very clear.
All right. Then for the third participant, the times is yours.
Wait. Kak, should I do the speech while sitting or standing up?
It's up to you, Kak. Yang penting gesturnya kelihatan karena gesturnya akan dinilai oleh adjudicators.
Okay,
Standing up is better.
Okay, then Kak, I will like raise this thing first. Like it will be more feasible.
Yep.
Okay. So is this position like feasible?
That's great.
Okay. Last thing, I'm so sorry, committee. So like the maximum time is 6 minutes and 30 seconds, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Okay. I have 50,000 rupiah in my hand. Does anyone want this? Or I also have the secret recipe how to succeed in life. Does anyone want this? Or if I tell you, I also have the struggle in life. Do you want to share that with me? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're living in a world where people want everything to be quick and instant. People do corruption because they want to be rich. People do, for example, like cheating because they want to get a good score. Or people also do want to be slim, but then they keep on eating a lot, just like me. So, does anyone here actually experience the same situation? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Hi, I'm Ray Abraham from President University, and today, let us share something that will make us win the battle of life. So ladies and gentlemen, firstly, please just sit back, relax, and wonder, what is the very first thing, if you have the wish, what is the very first thing in your mind to wish to come true? Well, you could actually wish for everything. You could actually wish to be rich, you could actually wish to be smart, or you could also actually to wish to be as handsome as me or to be as fat as me. Well, it's your choice. But for me, I would actually personally wish to be the Indonesian Minister of Foreign Affairs. And you might actually ask me, why? Well, if you remember the speech of my preliminary speech, I told you that I don't believe that leader was made, it is born. But in my semi-final speech, I also told you that I believe that I was useless, that I was worthless because I'm Chinese. People think that I'm different. So you might wonder, what is the correlation between those speeches into my dream? Well, actually, I thought Indonesia and me have something in common. I thought that many Indonesians are still not confident with our nation. Many people still say that Indonesia has to be a very developed country so that we can have a confidence to speak in the international forum. Or many people say that Indonesia should actually be a very good economy conditioned country so that we can have this confidence to say a word and speak up in the international community. But then I want to change that perception. I want to make Indonesia that was bullied in the international community to speak up and change the perceptions of the world. And that is why, let me tell you one simple story that has changed my entire life. At 2015, I have a friend named Shawal, and at that time I asked him, what is your first impression to my country, Indonesia? And the very first thing he said was corruption. Well, it was shocking. And at the time I had two options. First, to keep on silent, but secondly, I had the chance to speak up and say a word to make his perceptions no longer bad to Indonesia. And at the time, I feel my courage, I collect my bravery, and finally say a word. No, Indonesia is more than that. And finally, since that moment, I realized that that was the best day of my life. And I can declare that I have won to the battle of my life, to the battle of insecurity. And that is why I want to share with you several things to win the battle in your life. Firstly, you need to be able to have your dream. You need to collect your vision, your goal. Because many people does not even have a dream. They were clueless. And that is why when you have a dream, you want to go to reach your goals in the top of the building A, you need to go to the stairs of building A. You cannot just simply say that, let's go with the flow. Because if you do that, what will happen? You will go to many directions and not reaching your goal in the top of the building A. Secondly, is to wake up from your dream, is to do something. Because for me, I want to be able to speak up. And that is why now I'm in front of you, standing here while doing a speech. Thirdly, is to also always evaluate and also improve yourself. Because when you understand that this evaluation is for the betterment of yourself, you will know that this is for the betterment of yourself and you will reach that beautiful destination. When you believe in yourself, I know that you will understand you are the only person that can change your life, your mindset, and your perception. And that is why I had a conversation with my mom when she said, don't think inside the box. And I was like, okay, Mom. She said, don't think outside the box. And I was like, okay, Mom. Don't think to be the box. Yeah, Mom, I'm not the box. I'm this fat. What do you mean? And she said, create another box. It means believing in yourself that you can do something else. One song that always reminds me to believe in ourselves sounds like this. So when you feel that hope is gone, look inside you and be strong. And you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies on you. Well, I have won through my battle, the battle of insecurity. Will you take the same chance? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Mr. Ray Abraham for the great performance. And now I would like to give the time to our adjudicators to ask some questions. To the adjudicators, you can ask some question if you want to. The first will be delivered by Mr. Dylan. To Mr. Dylan, the
Thank
time is
you
yours.
very much. Thank you, Mr. Vicky. Thank you very much, Mr. Ray. Do I call you Ray or do I call you Abraham? Thank you very much, Mr. Ray Abraham. Really love your voice, by the way. I'm jealous, actually. I think you won the female judges over before I did, so well done. My question to you, Mr. Ray Abraham, is you spoke about Indonesia's image, especially to the outside world. So basically, and if you break it down, you're saying that what other people think of you is actually important, right? Do you agree with that statement that your image according to the outside world is important, or do you think that we should focus on ourselves and believe who we are to be right? Should I repeat my question?
Just for a confirmation, so like which one is more important, whether to think about what the other world or the other people think about us, or focusing on developing ourselves?
Yes.
Okay, so I think so I can I answer?
Yes, please.
So so I personally think that because the world has so many differences, the world has many like diversity, I believe that it's a collective and collaboration aspects where we have to focus on ourselves developing our strengths, but not also forgetting that people could see us, so then we can be the blessing for the others. People will see that we can be the impact, and then how we can change the world is by understanding that other people also have some expectation for us. So with that, we will understand how should we improve. But then one thing to note is that not really seeing the world to change you yourself, but then how can you collaborate with the moderations and the degree, how you could still develop your potential, but then accepting the environment's criticism or like opinion regarding you.
Beautifully answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Mr. Dylan for the question. And next, we will move to another educator, that is Miss Nivia. To Miss Nivia, the time is yours.
Okay, Mr. Ray. I mean, like, if we talk about this case for the theory, there are a lot of things that we can tell to others. I mean, like, we need to do this, and this. But the fact is, in reality, all things is not as easy as that. We have a lot of obstacles in life. We cannot just control ourselves, but we also have to see the other people, also the society around us, right? So, I mean, like, how can we really make sure that we are in the right way to get what we want, that we already have done our best and this is the right way? We do not need to care with others if they just give bad impact to us, because yeah, we know right now it's a very difficult to find the great standard of being a great one.
Okay, so a little bit confirmation because yours is a little bit shaking in my connection, I think. So it's about like, how do we ensure that we are in the right direction to achieve our goal?
Yeah, because the theory isn't enough, right?
Because what, Miss? Sorry.
Because the theory isn't enough as our direction.
Okay, so yeah, I personally believe and I agree with you that theory is not enough because you need to really go into the practice. For example, like a very simple thing in life, when you want to achieve to be a leader, or you have this vision, I want to be the president of Indonesia. It might sound very big. It might sound that, yeah, I cannot reach that. It is impossible. Well, in theory, people can say, let's just change the word impossible into I'm possible. But then it's not as easy as that. And that is why we need to go in practice, starting from the small things. Like, for example, we can try to be the class captain. We can be a leader in a group. At least we have the courage to do the practice. So when we have the willingness and we keep on trying, well, we need to really understand ourselves first. Because like this, when you really want that, you really want to achieve this goal, be the leader of Indonesia, you need to start being a leader from a very small scope in a community. And after that, you will know how the feeling of being a leader. You know what's the struggle of managing the team. You will know how to handle your different opinion inside of the team. And then you will be trained as time goes by. And then it keeps on improving and improving. And along the way, I understand, and I believe that you will find the way how to achieve that becoming the president of Indonesia, because you finally understand, oh, this is the struggle of being the leader of the group. Oh, yeah, this is not supposed, I should not do this, or yeah, I should do this. And I believe you will getting higher, 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 and higher. So believe in yourself and start doing it from the simple scope in your life.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.
All right, thank you so much to Ms. Nivia for the question. We will move to next educator for delivering their question. To Ms. Ega, the time is yours.
Hello, Ray.
Hi, Miss.
Your singing was good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so you said that you have to dream to win in this life, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, like world cannot always give you what you wish for. What is the exact action you can do to win in life beside dreaming? Since everyone can dream, and it's like, what kind of special skill you need in this era that has been developed so you can win in this life?
Okay, so what the other So, firstly, Miss, thank you for the question. I personally think that dreaming in this 2020 is not always an easy thing, because as we get into, let's say, a life crisis identity, or then sometimes we don't know what we want to achieve in this life, people might not have their dream. Or like we see in 2020, there are so many problems, like the problems in Myanmar where people are getting killed, or for example in China, Uyghur community where Muslims are being killed by the government. Many people does not have their dream. Many people only see, how can I survive today? How can I get rid of this bombing, of this killing? And it really happens. Let's say people in Africa, children does not have a dream because they only see, how can I get a food for tomorrow? And I believe that dream is actually important. And that is the thing that I enhance in this speech. But then if you ask me what is the other thing aside than dream so that we can achieve our goal, our dream, I believe that we are created and made and born with the specialties, meaning that we have something in our heart, in our mind, for us to actually be the person we want to be. The environment might be different. The environment might tell us, no, you are useless, you are worthless. And I think I experienced that because I know I was Chinese. I was not what people tell me, that you have to be quote unquote pribumi to be Indonesian president. And I was living in that insecurity, but then I believe that I have something in my heart that could change myself. And if it's not dream, it's the potential for us. It might be different from each person. So understanding the potential in ourselves. Like for example, if I can do now public speaking, the thing that I was not discovered in the previous things, I probably can be the public relations. I probably can be the spokesperson. I can be the one that shares influence and knowledge to the people, to the values. Or other people might have the other potential, like they are good in singing, or they are good in playing guitar, or they are good in writing an academic notes. I think that is a special potential that God has given to each and every one of us, so then we could develop that potential, becoming the person that achieve our dream. So I think because every people have different capacity and potential, I believe that it is another important aspect, Miss.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.
All right, thank you so much for to Ms. Ega for the question. And this is the end of Ray's session, and we will move to the next participant. Thank you so much for Kak Ray Abraham. Now you can leave the breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Kak.
All right, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Okay. That's so funny, right? Okay, now we will continue to the fourth participant, that is Miss Diana. Please wait a minute, ya, Kak. All right, I think Miss Diana is on breakout room right now. Hello, Miss Diana. Diana. Sorry.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are very well. All right. Before we officially start, I would like to confirm whether you could see the timer clearly, Kak?
Yeah, yes.
All right. For the four participants, the time is yours.
Okay. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Talking about winning. What does winning means for you? The student maybe say that winning is having a good score, a good mark, or win a competition. Some workers think that winning is gaining some amount of money, buying Lamborghini, Rolex, anything that they want. It's all about gaining profit. For celebrity, winning is when they have the fame and public recognition. In brief, winning is achieving anything that we want, anything that we hope, and when we feel better than anyone else. Winning is identical with money, with fame, and position. Everyone wants to be a winner. Even if it's just a game, we all want to win. No one wants to lose, because winning always considered as a happiness, while losing always considered as something shameful. But ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt if you are like something inside here, inside your heart, when you already have anything that you want? Money, achievement, success, or even fame. You have all of those things, but you're not happy. You feel alone. You feel lonely. You feel that the one who wants you to win is just yourself. And that was what I feel, ladies and gentlemen. Like what I have delivered in my speech before, I was an ambitious person. I spent most of my time for study. I studied so hard because I want to be the best. I want to win for my friends. And yeah, finally I got first rank in my school and I win the competitions. I was so happy back then. But it's just temporary because I just focus on myself. I want for myself, but I neglected people around me. I didn't want to teach them. I didn't want to help them. I didn't want to care about them because I was afraid if I help them, if I teach them, they're going to take over my place. They're going to replace me as the first rank. And that makes me unhappy. I was so selfish, self-centered. I was egoist. And then I tried to look around me. And I found that, ladies and gentlemen, it was so hard to see you're on top in your class, in your school, in your society, in your country, or even in this world. But people around you fall behind you. You know a lot of things. You're the best. But people around you don't know about that. They are fall behind you. And it was so heartbreaking for me at that time. I started to change my way of life. I believe one day we can win together with a heart each other. So I start to care of my friends. I start to greet them. I start to teach them. I still remember when I taught my friends mathematics because some of them don't really understand mathematics well. We studied together. I tried to help them. I try to open myself. I try to not be selfish anymore. We study together every day, every class break or anything, or even chatting. And then the final exam results come out. And guess what? My friends get 17th, 18th, 19th, and 19th. And at that time, I was super happy, not because of the score that they get, but finally I found that finally I can win from my egoism. I win from myself. And my friends also win for themselves because they can conquer the difficulty they found in mathematics. At that time, I feel that we all win together. We all are winner. And it is real different if I won by myself, just for myself. It's really amazing and undescribable feeling, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that we can win together. We can, because winning, not just all about external factor like money, positions, or achievement, but it also something in our heart. It's internal factor in ourselves. Because I believe that we all can win. We are deserved to win together. And maybe some of you feel that, why I say that everyone can win, but when I join competitions, please and gentlemen, it's simple. I'm here today, I join the competitions because I think this is the right place, this is a good chance for me to share my story. We can learn together. I learned a lot of things from these competitions, from the judges. I learned a lot of things from the participant or even committee to how handle these competitions. And at the end, we all learn together. We're a winner from the whole version of us. We are the winner. That's all about my speech. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Miss Diana for the great performance. And now I would like to give the time to our educator to ask some question. To the educators, you could ask some question if you want to. And the first chance will be delivered by Mr. Dilan. Mr. Dilan, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Diana. Very inspiring speech and something that you overcame. Well done to you. My question to you, Ms. Diana, is on a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think friendship is and why? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think friendship is and why?
So, okay, I also want to clarify. It's if the answer, the question is all about friendship, right?
Yes, friendship and you becoming successful, of course.
Okay, so for me, so all it is, thanks for the questions. For me, that friendship is really important because from my experience, I have no friends because I just focus on myself. But when I try to open myself, I greet them, I help them. It's gives me power that finally I do something not just for myself, but for everyone. I can share it to everyone because sometimes you just focus on myself. You know that happiness for me, it's for together, happiness together. We can reach together, we can succeed together. If we can succeed together, why we have to choose that? We just succeed by myself, just for myself. Like, I can succeed by myself, but when I see my friends, when I see no one support me, it's really hurtful for me. It's really heartbreaking for me. And that's why I really focus on this friendship, about friends, about our communications, or about our relationship with others, because it's really important for me. Because we're human, we live in this world, and we need each other. No one is the best, no one can do anything in this life by themselves. We need at least one person, or maybe just our family, but at least we need a person in our life. That's all my answer.
Thank you very much, Ms. Diana. You didn't answer from a scale of 1 to 10. How important?
I'm sorry?
On a scale of 1 to 10, you didn't give me a number.
Oh, give him a number. Okay, so for me, it's hand friendship is really important in how we can be success.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much to Mr. Dilan for the question. Next, we will listen to the question from Miss Nivia. To Miss Nivia, the time
Okay.
is yours.
So, Miss Diana, we have similar story but a different solution. So I also got bullying when I was in senior high school. That happened because I was a leader of classes, then I joined a lot of competitions, and also I missed a lot of class, but suddenly I still got a rank. So my friends and my classmates hate me so much at the time because they never saw me in the class, but okay, you still got a champion. I mean, like you got a good rank, and they hate me because what I have done, what I achieved at that time. And that time I didn't care with them because of what? Because I do believe that if I care with what they want, what they think about me, I have to stop all things. And if at that time I choose to stop, it will be very impossible for me to be what I am today. So I keep myself to believe that if you believe you can and you're brave to do that, so do it. And this is who I am. And because learning is a very long process. At the end, my classmate in senior high school, right now when we are adult, we still keep being friends. We gather together like in Lebaran's days or something like that, and we still have a good relationship at the end because, yep, when we are adult, all the process is coming and we became more mature and then we understand each other, something like that. What do you think about that? Because maybe we have a very different perspective of life when you really care about your friends. And me, I also really care with my friends, but the friends who support me, I don't really care with those who want to bring me down, something like that. What do you think about it?
So from my story that I had some friends that some had me with no reason because they had me because I can be the first rank, I can win competitions. But at the time, I thought that if some friends that always there is a reason why this friend tried to drag or try to take us down. Maybe something that we have to change in myself. So this is the reason why I want to care about them because I want to try to change myself. How to maybe something that I didn't know that I do in my life for them. Maybe it's hard them, but I didn't know. If I ask them, if I care about them, maybe we can be friends together. We can all be happy because if we just focus on our friends who is supportive for us, doesn't mean that be happy. It's just for someone who care about me, someone who are care about us. But if we share our happiness, we spread that for all the people in this world, even if they're not care about us, they are hate us. It can change in life, right? So that's my answer.
So when do you think that sometimes we need to stop to make other people believe in us? I mean, like, because jealousy doesn't have any reason. Sometimes some people jealous on us without they don't have any reason. They just jealous and hate us, you know. So what, in your opinion, when should we stop to make other people believe in us when we feel so tired with that case?
Okay, so for me, how to stop them jealous for us is maybe there's something that I have to change in my personality, maybe, or maybe things in my life because maybe it's my personality or maybe just my thought that I always believe that that we are people. It's normal to jealous, but we can stop that. We have self-control. When we have to jealous to the other people, well, we can support them. So I want to share that to them that you don't have to be jealous for anyone because, yeah, for me that I always believe that I can change that. I can change that because I don't want anyone have this bad side in their life. If they are jealous, I have to change it for me because I don't know, it's just very important, and I always believe that I can change it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Ms. Nitya. Is it enough? Okay, I think it's enough. And next we will move to another adjudicators. That is Ms. Ega. So Ms. Ega, the time is yours.
Okay, hello Diana.
Hi.
Okay, so like you said, winning in this life is what everyone wants, and being failed and disappointed is a usual thing in this life. You said earlier that everyone can win. So how do you tell people to set the right expectation in pursuing the goal so they won't be disappointed?
Okay, so for me, win is just not about that. We can achieve what we have or we can achieve what we want. But for example, when I join these competitions, when I enroll to these competitions, when I win in these competitions, when I step my foot here, I already win for myself because I can conquer my nervous, my fear to join the competitions. When I join competitions, I have win for myself to be a better one. So for me, winning it's not just about if you're achieving something, but you take a step for that. You're brave to take that step. That is, you win from yourself.
Is that all?
Yes.
So how do you set the right expectation? So if you are going to, for example, joining a speech competition, so how is your expectation? Your expectation is to be the number one or just to be in a big five or what?
So my expectations when I in my life or maybe in just these competitions, at least that I be the better versions from the old of me. I'm better than yesterday of me. At least I learned something here. I do something different. I take a step for that. So my expectation just I have to be better than the old versions of me. I have to change me. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Ms. Ega for the question. And then this is the end of Diana's session, and we will move to the next participant. Thank you so much to Ms. Diana for the great performance. And now you can lead the breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will now continue to the fifth participant, that is Ms. Nabila Rizky Aryani. So please wait a minute.
I just want to inform the other judges. I think if you notice on the score sheet, formulanya agak salah ya. Mungkin I don't know if it's only mine, but even the formula wasn't for the addition for the percentage. It left out the Q&A. Jadi nanti pas when you're marking, don't forget to include the Q&A percentage.
The formula ya Kak. Jadi formula untuk question and answer-nya belum masukin ya Kak?
Iya.
No,
Yeah.
I got the new one.
I got the new one as well, but tadi aku edit sendiri sih, like the formula tadi.
Maybe Vicky, did you just share it to me personally or you shared it to the group?
Yes, I shared it to the group this morning.
Oh, so maybe I got the old one then. But it's okay, udah edit kok, it's fine.
Udah.
All right.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Dylan.
That's fine, it's fine.
All right, I think Nabila Rizky Aryani is in breakout room. So, welcome, Ms. Nabila, to the breakout room. Before we officially start, I would like to confirm whether you could see the timer clearly.
Yes, I can. And am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Okay, for the participants, the times is yours.
Dear bullies, I am the girl who you tore my book in front of everyone. I am the girl who you shouted rude words while I mopped the floor. I was the girl who was pulled by the hair physically. And I was the girl who was trying to find herself in a new culture. And I was shocked. Ladies and gentlemen, I once lived in another country called Qatar since I was little. And in there, I had friends. I was happy and I had a life. I thought that everything was going to be okay until I came back to Indonesia. In there, it felt like a new world, so it was a new life to begin. And pretty much, I never knew what was ahead of me because I felt foreign in my own country. So I don't even recognize Bahasa and Indonesia language well. Now, the first step that I entered in a new elementary school was also my first and always will be remain the painful days I've been through. So in some reason, they start to look at me in an unpleasant way, and I start to panic whether they try to make an evil plan towards me. I was clueless in their words and action. And every time the days passes, the more intense their attacks are, both verbally and physically. They use me as an object, not a friend. The surroundings thought that I lied about coming from another country, but sadly, I couldn't even speak out for myself. I was a sore thumb. And I remember writing and expressing my words on pages to pages in a diary of how things went. And touching that diary again will always move my heart. So after 2 years, the pain ended. And I start going to a new middle school and a new environment. There, finally, there was new students like me, new friends, and the darkness released me. No more harmful hands laid into me, not a single finger. So then I now feel the way of how school activities are. And this is where I can now feel studying, teamwork, and also friendship and joy. So then middle school brightened me up, and this was the time for me to shine. Ladies and gentlemen, so moving towards this, I understand that in this way I can shine. I showed my English ability, and there I was well known in middle school and also high school. So then the cold wings suddenly spread out, and I managed to join English competition. So then I never expect to gain more than 10 trophies to represent my school. And I am here now standing, or should I say sitting, to tell my story. So what is bully actually? It actually is something else of people do to us. Well,
Why did they do that? That's because usually people bully others when they move from a village, right? But not in my case. Why did I get bullied who moved from another country? You see, bullies' reason can be in many obstacles, which they may have been jealous of me and hurt me instead of guiding me. So, what is the solution to overcome the hard times? There was only one. That is, first, speak up. Now, the pain would stop if I at least tell someone. That's because after you tell someone, just like I told my parents then try to plan and put me in a school where there aren't any old friends, or should I say bully there. So from this, you can see that they try to at least help us get out from the darkness because they never know where have we been. And this, don't ever keep the pain inside that will then build into a huge mountain, because silence is the loudest cry. So, ladies and gentlemen, that only solution was for those who got bullied, suffered, and injured. So from that, please speak, because there's always a medicine to cure it. And we all have a story, so it was meant to be told. And ladies and gentlemen, after you clear the walls, you can then seek your true self. And everyone wants to know where you've been and need you. Ladies and gentlemen, dear bullies, once again, I am the girl who you pinned down, and I am the girl who's here with a crown. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Ms. Nabila for the great performance. And now I would like to give the time to our educators to ask some question. To the educators, you could ask some question if you want to. And the first chance will be delivered by Mr. Dylan to Mr. Dylan. The time is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vicky. Thank you as well to Ms. Nabila for a very inspiring speech. Really felt motivated, and bullying is actually a very serious thing in today's day and age. But my question is not about bullying. My question is, especially me being a foreigner in this country, sometimes I face situations whereby I have the conflict between adapting or being true to myself. Do you think that in order for you to succeed in something, or in order for you to get to where you want to be, you need to adapt? Or do you think that we should just stay who we are regardless of the final outcome? Do you think would you like me to repeat my question?
I understand the question.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So for me, adapting is actually one of the ways, because if we stay wherever we are, we will be trapped in the same environment, in the same atmosphere. So from that, if we start adapting, we start feeling the way that it actually changes, we can also learn that sometimes our old self is better, and sometimes this thing that we have in our future self is actually can be better than the old self after we adapt our things. For example, adapting the way of we know the culture in Indonesia, as in we bow down towards people. So it means that we have to be respectable to teachers, to elderlies, and this can allow us to be more a person as in this different place. So if you went into a different place, we will always we have to be something, and we have to understand what kind of place is there that they are using as a culture, or even as a good deeds that they do, and also their habits that we can apply. Yes, that's it.
Thank you very much. Follow-up question. To what extent do you think that we should adapt another culture? Do you think that not to a culture, but to an environment? Do you think that we should adapt it 100%, or should it be 50-50, or how much do you think? And who judges what is right and what is wrong between what we adapt and what we don't adapt? Should I repeat the question?
No, it's I understand the question. Okay, so I understand where there is our uniqueness or our specialties when we go into another country, right? So on that uniqueness that we have, it is not necessary for us to clear it out and gain all the new adaptation of that environment, but we need to still remain our uniqueness in case that people know what kind of person or what kind of people that we are in front of them. And adapting the environment can be like adapting the good deeds and also the culture, though the culture, if it's not equalized as our culture, we don't need to follow their culture. Although if it's necessary and if it's important, as we know that we have to be respectful and say salutation towards an elderlies and also the people, that we have to follow it. So we have to keep remaining our uniqueness.
Thank you very much, Ms. Abdullah.
All right, thank you so much to Mr. Dylan for the question. And now we will continue to the next question to Ms. Nivia. The time is yours.
Yep, thank you. So, Ms. Nabila, thank you so much for your nice speech. One of the solutions that you give to us is we have to brave to speak up. Maybe you brave to speak up because you have something on yourself. You have a great public speaking which you can show to others. But how about people who do not have anything? I mean, like bullying comes not only because of jealousy, but it's also because someone is too weak and they like to bully them, right? So what do you think about this case? Because not all people who got bullying because they have something, but sometimes it's just because they have nothing.
Okay, so I understand that people like me are actually minorities who actually have something. But at the end, when you say that people actually have weakness, everyone actually still have their specialties. Because, for example, the people who could not speak up, or should I say an introvert people who could not speak up for themselves, they can actually shine in somewhere else. For example, they can start opening a social media, as in blogging, or also another YouTube channel, or which maybe they like gaming and other things, because we can, like, there are many public figures out there who does not want to show their face but they only want to show their talent. So I believe that that kind of people, if they find a right environment, if their parents still care and support, and there will always be friends there to help by, I believe that they can still shine with their talent. So you can shine in silence. Thank you.
That's great.
All right, thank you so much to Ms. Nivia for the question. And we will continue to the next question. That is question from Ms. Ega. To Ms. Ega, the time is yours.
Okay, hi Nabila.
Hello.
So, bullying is unacceptable. Have you forgiven all the friends who bullied you?
Okay, so that kind of question, I would like to forgive them, all of them, but I think the more older I get, I will forgive them fully, because they haven't say sorry, although I understand that they were still small and it was still at elementary school. And I understand that I know that majority people are actually good. They are not all bad. So I understand only some of them has still still have a lack of their behavior, although they can change. Everyone can change. So I think forgiving them fully is actually the right way, and it must be a must, because I don't want to. I can forgive them, though I will still shine whatever I want to do, even if they look at me. So, yes.
Yeah, talking about in the side of people who bully, what do you think that make the people bully other? Is it their environment or how the parents raise them? Do you think that make them to be a bully is because of their environment and how the parents raise them, or others aspect?
So as I said, that bully can be in many obstacles. Bullies can be either in one person to one person. It can either be a group of people to a group of people. But sometimes the most aggressive bully is actually one person who is facing a group of people. That is why that kind of group of people, they may not like about them because of their background, such as maybe their talent, but that's minority, and maybe their background families. For example, their family, I'm sorry to say, one of them went to jail, etc. And that way, holding that kind of background, and also maybe their physique are unfortunately to say not perfect, although they can still at least manage their way to tell their parents, because everyone cares in this world. Because I don't like the word no one cares, because honestly people do care. They just need attention for they need attention to care one another. And that's why that kind of group of people itself, the surroundings is also a role to help stop and bury the word bully, because bully is now upgraded until cyberbully. So we also, as a person who is not getting bullied, for example, and also parents, maybe teachers, and also the government, has a role to stop this bully. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Ms. Ega for the question. This is the end of Miss Nabila session, and we will move to the next participant. Well, thank you to Miss Nabila Rizky Aryani for the performance and the answers. And now you can leave the breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we will continue to the last participant, that is Mr. Arjun Indra Murjani. So please wait a minute. We still assign him to join the breakout room. All right, I think Mr. Arjun is in the breakout room. So welcome Mr. Arjun in breakout room. So before we officially start, I would like to confirm whether you could see the timer clearly.
Yes, it's very clear.
All right.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
All right. For the last participants, the time is yours.
They say you never forget your first time. And ladies and gentlemen, I completely agree with that statement, because sometimes when I'm in bed at night, I can catch myself reminiscing about my first time. But just to be clear, I'm talking about competitions. The year was 2018, and it was the first time I joined a speech competition. My lecturer came up to me and said, "Arjun, your English is very good. You should try join debate or public speaking." And just like that, I got the answer that I was looking for. I got a reason to skip classes. So I signed up for the first event that I could find. But alas, it was on a Saturday. So I could only skip class to go attend the technical meeting. But nevertheless, I was still very excited. I was so excited that I woke up extra early on the day of the event. I reheated my mom's spaghetti for breakfast, and then I reached there early. I talked to the other participants, I watched them perform, and soon enough, it was my turn. I got on top of the stage. I was poised, I was ready, and I even opened my speech beautifully with a quote because that's what I read online. And then it happened. The thing that public speakers fear the most. I went blank and I forgot my speech in the middle of it. My mouth was open, but no words were coming out. My knees felt weak. My arms suddenly so heavy. I got the sick feeling in my stomach. I could even taste my mom's spaghetti. And I knew at that moment that I lost and that there was no denying it. But fast forward 2 years and 7 competitions into the future. And there I was on stage in the final round of my 9th speech competition. And I didn't talk to any of the other participants so that I could focus on my performance and my performance only. It was the first time I won, and it's the first time I got first place. Finally, everything I ever wanted, the applause, the recognition, the congratulations, the photo of me on top of the podium, hearing my own name being called instead of someone else's. Even the judge's response to me asking for feedback was that I didn't need any. And on top of all of that, I got a huge trophy that I could use to compensate for other things, like my grades and such. I was so proud of myself. I felt like I was on top of the world, but the very next day, it was like I was in the pits of hell. I felt so empty, even though I achieved what I thought I wanted. I got everything I wanted. The chase was over and I got the top prize, but I wasn't truly happy. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I took a look back to 2018, my first ever loss. Yes, I was bummed out for losing at the time, but I realized that I had so many little victories on that day. I made new friends. I learned so much through the feedback that helped me improve in the future. But most of all, the feeling that I got that was the best was that I wanted to improve and do better next time. Now, judges, bear with me for a second. I'm not saying that I don't want to win today. But what I am saying is that I learned a very valuable lesson that day. I learned that winning isn't just getting to that podium and bringing home a conversation starter for whenever I have guests at home. It is so much more. It is making friends. It is learning. It is wanting to do better day by day. It's wanting to be better than the person you were yesterday. And even if you don't succeed, it is the effort that you put in to try and be better continuously. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the secret ingredient to this cake called life. And it is the friends you make through each different experience that is the icing on the cake to make it taste so much better. You see, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't feel like a winner, if you don't sense that you are the champion, and if you are like me and you often feel like you are a failure, I urge you to remember that we have all been there, and those situations will come multiple times throughout our lives. But remember and trust me when I say that your cake will come out the sweetest when you enjoy what you do. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much to Mr. Arjun for the great performance. And now I would, and now I would like to give the time to our adjudicators to ask some question. To the adjudicators, you could ask some question if you want to. And the first question will be delivered by Mr. Dylan. To Mr. Dylan, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Teacher Vicky. Thank you very much for a very, very inspiring speech, Mr. Mujani.
Yes.
My question to you lies upon how do I say extent, or point. At what point should a person be like, I've done enough with my life, I've achieved everything I wanted, and I'm going to stop here? Do you think that we should always get to that point, or do you think that that point is man-made, or is it from society, or what do you think about it in general? Thank you.
Okay.
Should I repeat the question?
No, it was very clear. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for that wonderful question. It is something that I personally wanted to touch upon in my speech, but given the 46-minute nature, I didn't want to get too into it. So in society these days, we have hustle culture where the grind never stops, where you always have to work hard till the day you die, and you can sleep and rest when you die. That is a very common saying that we all hear, and I'm sure you have heard it before. So when it comes to stopping and being content with your progress, I think it is very important to learn to be happy with what you have achieved, but it is also very important not to settle for less. So if you feel personally, without any external inclusion or without any external influence, that you are content with where you are at life, I think that is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine to stop trying to improve. But there's another thing that we can do later on in life, ladies and gentlemen. It is helping others. So once you feel that you have peaked and you are very happy with where you are, there's another thing which is very fulfilling, and that is to see others succeed and to be a part of that process. So I think even though your grind stops, I think it is very important that you can remember that if you are done, it doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything. You can always be a part of someone else's grind. And that is my answer to that question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mujani.
All right, so we will continue to the next question. That is question from Miss Nivia. To Miss Nivia, the time is yours.
Okay, Mr. Arjun, I don't like your first answer because that's what I felt when my student got a champion. It's more happier for me than when I became a champion in my competition. And I also really like your speech because it brings my memory of my first competition, because at the time I was there only in a minute because I forgot all of my tasks, I forgot my situation, something like that. And the thing that made me still like, okay, I want to do this again. I didn't feel bad for this case because it's my first time is because maybe because I have overconfidence, because I thought that I will not meet you anymore. But the fact is I still meet them in another competition. So, and they still remembered me. They remembered that I was the one who just spoke in a minute. And at the time, believe or not, the other participants would see me as a veiled participants. I mean, like, they didn't care with me and they didn't feel that I am their competitors. They had seen me as a veiled participants like that. So what do you think about it? What things that make you believe that, okay, I'm going to do this again because I believe that I can do this?
Okay. So personally, for me, I have a background in sports. Throughout middle school and high school, I used to play soccer almost every day. I wanted to go professional, and I learned from that experience. Obviously, it didn't happen, but I learned from that experience that every skill, every ability, or every talent that people seem to have no matter where you start, if you start even from zero, you can get to a point where it seems that it comes so naturally. And so because of my previous experience, when I started playing soccer for fun and I wanted to become a semi-professional or even professional, I even got to a similar level, but I sadly got injured. I learned from that experience that it doesn't matter where you start, but it matters what kind of effort you put in to reach a finish line, that you like a goal that you set for yourself. So the goal that I set for myself in that first competition was that I actually saw a very good public speaker perform, and he's in this Zoom call today. It just so happens that I met Dylan at my first competition. And I said to myself, like, I was so entranced by his speech and I wanted to get to a similar level. And through my life, well, through these 2 years, I don't feel that I've gotten to a similar level, but I feel something even better, which is I got my own voice. I didn't follow the way that he was speaking, but I found myself through trying so hard. And one thing that people always do is that they follow the greats. That is good when you're starting to emulate and learn from others, but it is never, it's important to remember to not copy other people, because what works for you may not work for others. So I just wanted to be the best I could be in terms of public speaking, and I wanted to be able to deliver a message that I cared about in an effective way. So that was my motivation.
That's nice. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the question.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for Miss Nivia. Next, we will move to the next question that is from Miss Ega. To Miss Ega, the time is yours.
Okay, hello Arjun.
Hello.
I see that you're so ambitious and inspired. You strive for higher challenge and higher goals, but you already are perfect in achieving your goals, learning from your failure before, right? So, what do the things you envy in others that you really want to have in you?
Wow. When it comes to envy, I envy a lot of things. I envy when I see people do things seemingly effortlessly. Because, you know, when we see people do something, it seems like they don't even try. Most of the time when we see people who are already at a high level, and it always looks like they're not trying or it comes so easy to them. And that is something that I often get envious about, because I only know my struggle. I only personally know the amount of effort I put in. And that is something sometimes we have to remind ourselves that it is actually the same for everyone, that everyone had to put a certain amount of work and effort to get to the point that they are at now. It didn't just happen overnight, and they didn't just wake up a great public speaker, or Cristiano Ronaldo did not just become one of the best footballers in the world. It is something that is a day-by-day effort. It is something that you have to kind of invest in yourself. And I think that's a common thing that most people feel. Envy towards others, that it comes so easy. Especially in this modern day, we are all connected through so many different social media sites and to thousands and thousands of people, and mostly influencers. Now, when it comes to influencers, they have opportunities and they have gone through things that we have not seen to make them look good or to make them have a certain amount of wealth that we often envy. For example, there's this influencer. His name is Gary Vee. He's a motivational guy. He speaks so beautifully, and he also talks about his struggles. But it's so hard to relate because we're only looking at a screen. So sometimes we forget how hard, even though he says that he struggled, it's so hard to relate and remember that the struggle is real. So I think even though I envy a lot of things, I always try to remind myself that everyone starts from zero, and that is the beauty of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Miss Ega for the question. And this is the end of Arjun's session, and we will move to the next. We will move to the main hall after this. And thank you so much to Mr. Arjun for the great performance and also well answer.
Thank you.
Now you can leave the breakout room. Thank you, Mr. Arjun.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, that's all the performance for today. And now we will move to the main hall to give some general feedback to every participant. So let's move.
We end today's session. We will have a general feedback session from the adjudicators. To the adjudicators, time is yours.
Maybe from Miss Nivia or Miss Ege, if you want to go first, please be my guest.
Ladies first, yeah. So, thank you for the time. I just want to, congratulations for all of you. Wow, it's a very inspiring speech. It's really nice. I mean, like, this is the most productive week in this pandemic for me. As long as I stay at home for almost 6 months, I work from home, and this is the most productive one in a weekend. That's a very great one. Most of you already told a very inspiring story, but the problem is some of you forgot to give it back to the audience. I mean, like, you really focus in telling about your own story and telling what you have done in your life, but then sometimes it's not really relate with what other people in their life also. So I mean, like, and the inspiring story here is not only about you, it's not only about yourself, but it's also about other people who hear you, right? So don't forget to give it back to the audience, because they also need something which relates with them, with their life. So I mean, like, do not really focus on your own story. And the second is about when you answer the question. I mean, like, most of you, when you answer the question, you really focus and you resolve again and again. You just answer the question by telling, in my for me, in my opinion, like in my story, something like that. You do not tell something new. You do questions. It means that they want to hear another ideas of you. They want to hear another inspiring stories. But some of you just repeat what you have told in your speech. Get my point? It's just like repetition. So actually, when you answer the questions, it's just like a speech style. You still become it's still the part of your speech. So actually, you have to answer it as the professional one also. It's not just like it's just like curhatan aja, curcol aja gitu kan. You answer the question just, okay, I'm going to answer your question. No, it's still being a part of your speech. So do not forget to give it back to the audience, and also with your speech style also. So because in question and answer, you have 15 points. It's a big point, right? So actually, you have to answer it with a very great ideas, and do not only repeat your previous ideas, and also do not only focus on yourself. I mean, like, even when judges asked you about, in your opinion, what is your personal story about this case, but you still have a value there, a value that can you share to the audience. That's a very important here. And so far, for the clarity, just intonation and pronunciation or grammar, that's a very great one, because it's the final. So it's a little bit difficult for me to just which one is 1, 2, 10, 3. But you have to know that all of you are great. You are so awesome. I mean, like, when I was in your age, because now I'm old. When I was in your age, I feel that I'm not better than you guys. So just keep going, and thank you so much for this best performance and best weekend. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Nivia, for the general feedback. And now we will move to another educator, that is Mr. Dilan. To Mr. Dilan, the time is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm all competing. I'm tired. I'm also old, yeah. Not yet. I think I'm almost the same age. Again, I think Ms. Nifia actually said it. Great speeches, honestly. Like every single one was, I literally learned something from every single speech. I learned more about people in general, especially from you guys. I really felt inspired from a lot of your stories. But in some cases, Ms. Nifia is right in saying that we can't relate to everything, but there's a way in which you can make a story relate to you. You know what I mean? That way, the word selection and vocabulary comes in, because when you're giving a story about yourself that you know that a majority of people would understand, try and put it in a way that they will feel your struggle or whatever story you're telling, because we're not all the same. We don't always have the same experiences, but there is a certain extent that we can relate. For example, this has always been my struggle in public speaking in Indonesia, because throughout, every time I give a speech, I have to give a story. I'm giving it from a Zimbabwean perspective, not an Indonesian perspective, right? So, but there's a way in which I can make the two connect, which is what you do, not only about culture, but if you're talking about sports as well, find a situation that someone else can relate to as well, you know. So try and use certain vocabulary, try and use certain scenarios that you know that it might be a different situation, but you had the exact same feeling as me. So I could be talking about sports to a person talking about education, but I can still make it feel. So you can say that we practice and practice and practice every day to get the top result. I'm talking about sports, but everyone knows that in anything you do, you need to practice and practice and practice to get the same result, right? So it's a way of connecting situations through how you say it, why you say it, and the context you're giving. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, again, I said this yesterday, but I'm just going to say it again because a few participants still did this. Be careful what you say. Okay, what might not be offensive to you could be offensive to some people. As a public speaker, I explained this yesterday, you have 3 duties: entertain, inform, and persuade. Okay? So whenever you speak, make sure one of your aims is to educate. Okay? So try and give proper information, because when you're giving a speech, pretend that you're giving a speech to 6-year-olds. Pretend that you're taking them on a journey from 0 to 100. If you're going to talk to me like I know everything, what if I don't know what you know? You know? So don't just say things and expect me to know about them, but talk to me like I'm a 6-year-old. Break it down for me, but not too much, because you'll be giving too much information. All right? I'm going to give an example. I think one of the participants says, children in Africa are starving. Okay, I'm African. I'm not starving. You know what I mean? Not that I found it offensive, because I understand what you mean. But what I mean is that imagine if a person didn't know about Africa. You know what I mean? If a person thinks that Africa is one country, they're going to think, oh, everyone in Africa is starving, which is not the fact. So if you're going to say stuff like that, make sure you point out maybe a certain country from Africa that is starving, or maybe a certain city, or you just say many people in Africa are starving. You know what I mean? If you say children in Africa are starving, people have a complex where they're going to be like, oh, everyone in Africa is starving. So now you're making my job hard as an African to have to explain to people like, no, not every country. You know what I mean? But those are a few examples. So just as a public speaker, try and not make people not take you out of context, because some people can get offended by stuff you say. So that goes into word selection and vocabulary as well. And then I'll go to the question and answer session. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not an interview. Ms. Nifia actually said that. It is not an interview. When a judge asks you a question, we're expecting it to be part of your speech. So don't forget your gestures, don't forget your intonation, don't forget the way you answer, don't forget everything. And you're not only answering the question from that judge, you're answering to everyone. So when a judge asks you a question, don't only talk directly to that judge. Talk to all judges. Make us all feel involved. Make us all feel like a part of something. Even if a judge gives you their own perspective and their own scenario, take their perspective and make us all feel part of it. Because she's not the only one judging you. We are all judging you as well. So even though I've asked my question, then Ms. Nifia asked you a question or Ms. Ega asked you a question, I could still deduct your marks from my score because I didn't feel the connection with your answer and what Ms. Nifia asked you or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's not an interview. Keep the whole audience involved, especially if it's offline. Keep the whole audience involved, even if it's a question from. And also maintain the same body language, maintain the same expression, maintain the same way of giving a speech, because it is still part of your speech. It is not an interview. I think from me, that's it. But otherwise, I think this was very innovative. Everyone had something to offer. Your substance was amazing. And just, I think, because question and answer was a new thing, maybe people didn't really, get the vibe of it. But I hope from this, you have learned something and you can move forward. And good luck to whoever's in the top 3. To those who didn't make it, remember that there's always something waiting for you at the end of the tunnel. There's always a light for you. There's always something that is prepared specifically for you. No matter who you are, no matter where you've come from, no matter where you're going, there's always something for you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much to Mr. Dilam for the amazing and informative feedbacks. And next, last but not least, we will listen to the feedback from our adjudicator, that is Ms. Ega. To Ms. Ega, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Vicky. And to all the speakers, you guys really did great speeches. Everyone is great. Well, I'm going to have a feedback here, since this is the very first time we do the speech competition online because of the pandemic. So I just want to give you a suggestion. When you deliver your speech, you have to prepare everything. You have to make sure you're audible and your video is active before you enter the room. And how your gesture would be like, because speech is all about your confidence, so you will not be blank. Right? And then the second is, I'm going to talk about the speech text, because I see some of the speech text you have submitted. It is not like the speech text. I mean, like when you submit the text of speech to the committees, make sure that your text is in a shape. You just put all the contents, the problem, and the solution. So the judges will read what is the content of your speech, your brings, and what the topic is you bring up in this speech. So we're going to see that, oh, the topic from this speaker is about, for example, bullying, or about winning competition, just like that. And the last is, I really love it that everyone give nice answer in Q&A session. You are all prepared and understand the topic you bring in this final round. And my suggestion is you have to read more about new issues about the topic you bring. So you will be wide knowledge and comprehends everything whenever you have the Q&A session in your speech competition. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to all of the adjudicators, the amazing feedback. With that, we have come to the end of our session today. I believe all of you have done a very great job. However, there will be only 3 winners in this competition. The winners of the speech competition will be announced in the closing ceremony that will be held this afternoon, Sunday, October 25-2020. Once more, thank you so much for joining this speech competition. I, Winarsi, as the master of ceremony, apologize if I and the other committee have any mistake during this competition. We will close this competition by saying Hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Thank you for the nice attention. And once again, thank you to all of the participants and amazing educators. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Committee, you don't want to take a picture, virtual picture?
Oh, all right, Kak. We will.
You forgot it?
Actually, we record all of the session.